it's true that we meet with economic difficulties, and we shouldn't settle only for bickering, quarreling, fighting, or even taking action against each other. Rather, the approach of cooperation would provide the solution. I wonder whether most of you know that in China, for example, we are negotiating with the Europeans in terms of the geographical indications agreement. For example, in Spain, they are very famous in China, for many products, wine, ham, sausages, whatever. And with geographic indications, we have good protection of your agricultural products in China. And this is a landmark agreement that we have agreed to open with Europe. Even the Americans are refusing to talk about geographical indications protection with you because of many similarities in names, geographical names, proper names, etc. For example, champagne, right? And you even have this debate with Switzerland, where they have this small village of, they also call Champagne. This is a small example. A very big example is that we are starting to negotiate, or just about to start the negotiations of the China-EU investment agreement. This is something that I'm going to talk about tomorrow. I get up at 6:30, 5:30, I should say, catch the flight 6:30, arrive in Brussels at 9, and start the discussions at 11. We talk about how can we start the negotiations of the China-EU investment agreement. This agreement is important in the sense that we are not only going to talk about investment promotion, investment protection, but also investment liberalization. By liberalization, I mean market access. In Europe, you have a very open investment system. In China, we have, not that open investment system. This is natural because China is still a developing country, and in terms of economic, social, and technology development, we are not doing as well as Europe. But still, we know that we need to do something. For example, in China, we have this so-called industrial guidance catalog for foreign investment. For those European investors in China, some of you are happy about the catalog, some of you are not happy about the catalog. Some of them hate the catalog because the catalog says you are not allowed to, for example, have more than 50% of equity stake in a joint venture automobile maker. So some people want to see it eliminated. I'm not saying that the negotiations on the investment treaty can address all the problems, but at least it can help us understand how we can improve the catalog to how can we liberalize the Chinese economy so that we can benefit from many good things that you have here in Europe. And also, there is one thing that we are trying to learn from Europe. In China, we have a strong attachment to the idea of industrial policy. In Europe, you have stopped using industrial policy for many years. You basically allow the companies to do what they want to do. But in China, we have learned, maybe the right lesson or the wrong lesson from some other industrialized countries like Japan. Remember that in the 1980s, for example, Japan used a lot of industrial policy to guide its industrial development. Now we have come to realize industrial policy is one thing that is a double-sided, bladed sword. It can help us, and it can also cut us. Why? Because in the stage where you want to catch up with others, so-called the catch-up phase, industrial policy can be very good because you can close the hole or the gap very soon. But when it comes to a stage in which your companies are becoming more innovative, your companies are starting to invest more and more in R&D, your companies are having, more international cooperation, and your companies are moving up the value chain, then industrial policy can cut ourselves very hard. Why? Because how can, say, we in the Chinese government dictate what kind of technology solution should be developed? How can we make sure that out of 10,000 inventions or invention-oriented R&D activities, one or two or even three can indeed become a truly commercially valuable invention? We can't dictate anything of that nature. So I'm saying that the investment treaty negotiations will help us understand the linkage between industrial policy and our investment system. And indeed, how can we open up our economy to the worldwide investment community? Another thing that we are trying to do